Hello, Internet. It's Chris Krug again. I'm here with Ed Andrusiak. Say hello to the Internet, Ed.
Hi, Internet.
So, as you know, I'm working with the Coast Salish people of Galliano Island and the Galliano Conservancy on this project called One Island, One Earth, where we're setting some baselines for our impact and consumption here on Galliano. And we're doing that by having the community fill out surveys. So, Ed here has been awesome. He's responded to all the calls that we've put out, and he's completed both our waste survey and our food survey. So, will you tell us a little bit about like what you did as a part of that process?
Sure. What we found, both my wife and I, Cher O'Hara and I, looked at it and said this just requires some discipline. And compared to some of the stuff we did in the past, it was relatively easy.
Yeah.
So as far as the food consumption, that was probably the most rigorous in the sense of trying to track every little bit. It was just a half portion, full portion, all those sort of good things. But in no time, we figured out what we needed to record. We each recorded it and summarized it and put it down. So it wasn't that difficult. It was more a matter of discipline and remembering to do it. And,
Right.
and if you did that, and you did it immediately after you ate, you didn't have any trouble remembering exactly what it was that you ate and how much of it.
I've heard a lot of people have been fridge magneting theirs to the refrigerator and, you know, making tick marks as they reach in there and stuff. And so Ed's obviously very details oriented and disciplined as he imagined. But even if at the end of the day you can write down what you ate, that helps too. Anything helps.
It does.
And you did the waste survey as well?
We did, absolutely. So that was a 2-week survey. And I just sort of followed the technique of throw everything in one bag. Big bag.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it all,
Sort it out.
spread it all over the place and put it in the right piles.
Which we're kind of used to doing here on Galliano anyway, because we take all of our waste to the recycling and we separate it all ourselves. And
Slightly different piles because
the way we're
criteria was
categorizing.
slightly different, But again, no difference. By the time I did that, weighed it all, then just reshuffled it into the right bags for our local. And again, no problem.
Yeah. I've always looked up to Ed as like a big thinker who's kind of always thinking about community issues and how does those relate to global issues. And so I'm interested to hear a little bit like what did you learn or what do you think about this? Or like, why is it important? Why did you participate?
Well, I think it's absolutely critical that we start to get a handle on how much we need, like really need, what we have for resources, and what we're going to do to try and live within those means. And that's why I thought the Footprint Project was really a good way to start thinking about this. So we could see on Galliano here that issues like food after the COVID issue, and now when you look at the American Southwest and Mexico, where we usually get the industrial imports, they're going to be hard pressed to produce enough for themselves, never mind export.
Right.
So I'm really, really keen on looking at what can we do for ourselves here. I'm really keen on looking at, can we build some redundancy into our system whereby we really support our local agriculture, but in addition, the same as what they did during the wars, which is victory gardens.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's what we've tried to do here.
Right.
So how much can we actually grow and produce for ourselves?
I know that one of the things, it's not exactly included in the food study or the waste study, but one thing we've been surveying people about too is their water usage. And that's something that's near and dear to my heart.
Right.
I'm on a well at home and ponds at my farm. So here in the middle of August, heat wave, my well has been struggling.
Right.
And I don't have as much water as I need. And, I'm growing 500 apple trees over on the farm, as well as animals and ganja and all sorts of other stuff. So my ponds are being hit pretty hard this year too, but I know water's on your mind.
It is, absolutely. What we have here with the raised beds and the orchard, I collect off the metal roof.
Talking about right over there, the roof, and
you can see the metal roof.
Right over here, we're talking about the orchard.
The orchard and the raised beds.
And over here, we got the raised beds.
Right. So 12,500 gallons is what I collect.
Wow.
And then try to distribute it so that it'll last even a dry summer like this. So what I've been finding is that the smaller trees, if you just take a look at that, the dwarf and semi-dwarf, they're really the way to go, because they produce full-size fruit, but on a very small tree. Whereas if you look at the
I see,
plum trees. You
right.
could see the full-size plum trees are really suffering. I mean, their
And they're
leaves are
just
all
gonna take on 5 or 10 times as much water just based on their foliage and
I read 250 gallons a day at peak
Wow.
that a mature tree might need.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way we can save up that amount of water. So I'm thinking, look, we've got to get smart about the size of trees we plant, what
Interesting.
kinds of trees we plant to stretch that water to maximum. So instead of one tree taking 250 gallons, maybe I can spread it around between 3 trees.
Yeah.
And get all the
How
yield
much
from that.
of that 1,250 gallons are you into this year?
I've got about it's 1,200. I've still got about a tank and a half left.
Like
So
2,000
out of-
gallons left?
Yeah, out of 5 tanks.
Yeah.
So
Okay, even
yeah,
more. Four.
about
Yeah.
4.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
that's great.
And because I've been really holding back on it, really just using it for the raised beds and the smaller fruit trees, trying to make sure that they can get through.
Yeah.
And I'm just letting the plum trees suffer because it doesn't matter how much I pour on them, there won't be enough.
Right.
I'm just hoping they can dig deep enough and get the water they need.
That's amazing, Ed. You're a very mindful dude. I appreciate you sharing your perspectives, and I appreciate you supporting the program every way that you do. So, is there anything else you want to share with the world here while we're walking and talking?
Well, I think the water issue is something that we really need to think about on Galliano. You know, we're used to sort of an old paradigm where you dig a hole, stick a straw in it, and pull water out. You
Yeah.
know, I think that worked when there were few people and deep aquifers, and not so many people were pulling out fossil water and all the rest of it. Now I think we've got to get way smarter about dealing with the realities of what nature has given us.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of rain coming very quickly for shorter periods of
Concentrated
time.
periods of time, yeah.
And when you see Stockade Creek just runs past the house there at the base
Yeah.
of Stockade Hill, right behind us. So that creek just roars when the downpours come. It just zips straight down the hill into Montague Harbor,
Right.
just adding to sea level rise, right? So what we need to think about is, given all that water, can we not put a weir somewhere near the wetland there? You know, raise it. Maybe we can get another acre foot or so of water, let that infiltrate slowly, but more importantly, it's ponded. So for fire, for a whole variety of reasons, let's just hold on to what we're given.
Yes.
Think about it in a different way, you know, detain, retain, infiltrate. Those sound really subversive.
It does sound
doesn't
subversive,
it?
wow.
But that's how we're going to do. We're going to ensure we have
Don't
enough
judge
water.
a book by the cover, you know. Well, thank you very much, Ed. It's been great walking and talking with you. Thanks for showing me around your place. And over and out for now, Internet.
Goodbye, Internet.